Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Iona Athletics Podcast, your source for all the latest news about the Iona Gaels. I'm your host, Mike Phillips. We've got a good show for you this week. We're going to be joined on the phone in just a bit by the head coach of Iona's softball program, Katie Jansen. The softball team is going to start their season in a few weeks. We'll catch up with Coach Jansen about expectations for this year, a little bit about her background coming back to Iona after playing here, and all that good stuff coming up in just a bit. Be sure you're locked in until the end of the podcast for our look ahead to the upcoming week in Iona Athletics. And there's a lot going on this week, so make sure you're catching up there on what's coming up and make sure you are ready for the full week of Iona sports. But we'll get it all started with our weekly recap, which starts right now. We had a bunch of news last week, so we'll do some news and notes to start it off. On Monday, January 27th, Iona men's basketball announced they will honor the 40-year anniversary of a historic 1980 victory over Louisville at MSG. This will take place on February 21st during the halftime ceremony of the game against Rider. For more information about this and all the stuff that comes with it, visit our website, www.icgaels.com, for more information. On Tuesday, January 28th, Egle Morinete was named the MAC Track Performer of the Week for the second week in a row. At the Dr. Sander Columbia Challenge, she finished second in the 3K race with a time of 9 minutes and 19.71 seconds. That's her fastest time in the 3K in her career, the fastest among all MAC runners, and 7th fastest in the country. So, no surprise, Egle Morinete, once again, MAC Track Performer of the Week. Let's go ahead to Wednesday, January 29th. Iona softball, just talking about that a minute ago. Coach Jansen knows in a minute. They were voted third in the MAC preseason coaches poll. This is the highest projected finish for Iona in softball since 2015, so expectations high for Iona softball this year. The women's swimming and diving team also was named a Scholar All-America team by the College Swimming and Diving Coaches Association of America, the CSCAA. The Gaels had a 3.47 GPA in the fall semester, third highest among all MAC programs, so the Gaels, female swimmers, getting it done in the classroom and in the pool. On Thursday, January 30th, Iona Cross Country earned an academic distinction from the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, the USTFCCCA. On the men's side, Edward Goddard, John Millar, and Jack O'Leary were all named all-academic athletes. On the women's side, Egle Morinete, now a repeat award winner among the all-academic honorees for the women. And Iona women's rowing program, the preseason polls are out. They were picked to finish 10th in the MAC preseason coaches poll. And with that, let's start getting into some of the actual games. Look at some of the recaps coming up. We'll go to Friday, January 31st. Iona men's basketball home lost to Siena 87-64. E.J. Crawford led all scorers with 22 points in the matchup. The key to this game, Siena was out-rebounding Iona on the glass, 42-24, 16 offensive rebounds, the big difference in this game for the Saints. We'll go ahead to Saturday, February 1st. The Iona Track and Field program raced the Metropolitan Championships. On the men's side, Damian Dilcher earned the silver medal in the 800-meter in the time of 1:54.96. His runner-up effort was upended by Jonathan D'Souza, winning the 3,000-meter race in 8 minutes, 24.73 seconds. On the women's side, Gabrielle Toth and Grace Sparrow finished 1-2 in the 1,000-meter race, so gold and silver medalists there in the 1,000-meter race for the women. And women's basketball also at home on Saturday. Lost a tough game to Quinnipiac, 67-63. Was tied in the final minute before the Bobcats scored the last 4 points of the contest. Juana Quilion finished the game with a season-best 21 points. Paul Weeks also crashed in the glass, 14 rebounds. Great effort, just short of a victory. And finally, on Sunday, February 2nd, men's basketball went on the road, facing off in the MAC's fiercest rivalry against the Manhattan Jaspers, lost at Dratty Gymnasium. Tawana Agee finished with a double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds. Sunday afternoon result, the first time Iona has lost to Manhattan since the 2015 MAC championship game. So the run of dominance over the Jaspers ended. Gaels look to start a new one when they come here soon. We will get to that in the recap portion of the program, in the preview portion of the program, But up next, our interview with softball coach Katie Jansen right after this.
Inside, working the quarters beautifully.
That one swung on a miss. Strike three for Zazzaro. Getting out of it. Here's the 1-2. Off speed in there. Strike three looking. but now finds the count even at 2-2. Here's the pitch from Cesaro, swung on and missed.
All right, we are back here on the Iona Athletics podcast. Joining us today is the head coach of the Iona softball program, Coach Katie Jansen. Coach, welcome. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Doing well. It's hard to believe that it's almost time for softball, right? I mean, it's still winter out.
Oh, I know, but it didn't feel too much like winter today. We were able to get outside for even just a little bit, so it's better than being in the gym.
It is definitely better than the gym, and you obviously have a lot of familiarity with this program. You played at Iona, were a three-time MAC champion. What's your favorite memory as being here as a player?
Probably winning all the time. I think my favorite one was my senior year, 2014, the MAC championship game. Being on base when Brianna Shower hit the walk-off to win the tournament. I just remember running around like a crazy person with my arms in the air, and I'll remember that forever.
Yeah, so obviously you had a great career as a player. You graduate. What made you decide, you know what, I want to coach?
You know, it's a funny story. So when I was here, I was a speech pathology major and kind of had no idea what I wanted to do. So I was talking with Coach Melissa Inoue, who was my coach here and the coach before me, and she's like, you know what, I think you have good personality to be a coach, and I think you'd really like it. So she invited me out to sit with her, hang out recruiting at a tournament close to my house in New Jersey where I grew up. So I went with her, and I figured sitting around all day watching some games and trying to find some good players would be a pretty cool job. So she helped me land my first coaching job, and I've been in it ever since.
Yeah, so you get that job. Then a few years later, Coach Inoue leaves, and then you get the call to get the opportunity to be the head coach here at Iona. So what was that feeling like when you get the opportunity to come back here and coach this softball program?
You know, I kind of couldn't believe it at first. It was, as I was coaching, that was kind of my dream job, and my ultimate goal was to be able to coach here, and especially being a Division I school, I think that's every coach's dream when they're at the college level, is to get a D1 head coach job. And it's extra special being that I played here, have so many great memories and success. So I still kind of couldn't believe it, and it's been an honor ever since.
Yes, this is your second year as the head coach with Iona. What did you learn about yourself and the team in year one?
Oh, man, I learned a lot. I felt overwhelmed at times and really had to learn how to manage, but I learned that you just got to take things day by day, and especially reiterate that to the girls and have them understand that every day is important, and just be present in the moment and work on exactly what we're doing in that moment.
Do you think it helped you with the team that you had played here for, give you a little bit of like instant credibility, like, oh, like she's been here, she knows what it takes to win here, so I want to buy into what she's selling?
I like to think so, but I think they respect the fact that I know exactly what they're going through, and we're in their exact shoes, not just as a former student athlete like most other coaches are. I have the little advantage in the sense that I was here and went through the same coursework and scheduling issues and conflicts and all those kinds of things that they deal with. Had some of the same, you know, our strength coach was the same, so being able to sympathize with the tough workouts and those kinds of things, I hope it gives me a little bit of credibility.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. And your team's getting ready for the upcoming year, starting in a couple of weeks. What do you feel like is the strength of the group this year?
I think their chemistry and their camaraderie. We've had a lot of fun and got a lot of really good work done at the same time, but they're just so fun to be around, and I really enjoy getting to practice every day, and there's never any time where it's a drag or they seem like they don't want to be there. They're all really good friends. Most of them live together, for goodness sake, so they're with each other all the time, and their chemistry is awesome, and that's going to translate directly into us playing well, I believe.
Yeah, obviously as a team, they spend a lot of time together. Like, how important is it for a coach to see that chemistry start developing with the players?
You know, it's super important. I think it's been fun to see, especially the freshmen kind of come into their own and their personalities really shine, but them getting along is super important for our success.
Yeah, I buy that. And this team was pretty successful a year ago. I was around for a lot of your games. I was helping out with the production side of things, and you guys were fighting for first place for most of the year. So last year.
Yeah.
So how do you think that experience can help the team take another leap forward in 2020?
Well, we talked about that with them at the end of the year last year. Once, unfortunately, we got eliminated. That, you know, being in those tight games, especially later on in the year, we had a really close one with Monmouth, even though we lost the first game. Then we took the lead in the seventh. That was our last regular season weekend, and then our games in the MAC tournament, winning on a walk-off and playing in that playoff atmosphere, being in a one-run game right up until the very end against Marist. I said those are the building blocks to get you used to the pressure, to being able to be successful come next year and come future playoff and tight game settings. And, you know, they're hungry, and they weren't happy with how we ended, and definitely thought we had the talent and all that to win. So I think using all of that, it's kind of been fuel for them this year.
Yeah, before they get into MAC play, the Gaels do have an interesting non-conference slate, and they have a couple interesting trips. You go to South Carolina, got a couple other road trips in there. So how do you think that this slate will help the team get ready for MAC play?
The biggest thing, I think, is that we have pretty good competition. Our schedules, I think, is going to be able to work to our advantage. We play some local teams. It's kind of funny. We go down to Carolina to play Seton Hall, which is, less than an hour away, but they're a Big East program. And even down in Mercer, there's some good teams. We play some good teams at Towson, and not even just the good competition, but being on the road. The bus trips are a good bonding moment. 12 hours on a bus with the same people sounds like it could be a drag, but the girls make it fun, and we play games and do all those sorts of things that really bring them closer.
Yeah, how exciting is it going to be when you get to play on Walshville for the first time this year?
Oh, I mean, we got to wait till the end of March, so I know the girls are already talking about it, how they can't wait to get outside and be at home.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Coach, best of luck this year.
Thank you so much.
All right, and there you have it. That is our interview with softball head coach Katie Jansen. For the full interview with Coach Jansen, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/ICGales.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you.
All right, we are back. It is time to look ahead to the upcoming week in Iona Athletics. Let's go ahead to Tuesday, February 4th. Women's basketball home again. They're taking on Marist at 11 a.m. That is not a misprint, folks. 11 a.m. at the Hines Athletic Center. A camp day game for sure. So if you're around 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, you want to come watch some women's basketball, come down to Hines. Come see Iona taking on Marist. Let's go ahead to Thursday, February 6th. Once again, women's basketball in action. They are making the first leg of the Buffalo trip, heading up to Canisius to take on the Golden Griffs. Let's go ahead to Friday, February 7th. Women's lacrosse, welcome to the scheduled portion of the program. Begin their season on the road at Lehigh. The swimming team will now be at the Boston University Open Winter Invitational, day number 1 of 2 up in Boston. Men's basketball also on the road. They'll be taking on Quinnipiac. We'll go to Saturday, February 8th. The swimming program will be back in Boston. Boston University Open Winter Invitational, day number 2. Women's basketball wrapping up the Buffalo trip, taking on Niagara. And finally, on Sunday, February 9th, the men's basketball program on the road again, back to the state of Connecticut for a showdown with the Fairfield Stags. And that will do it for this week in Iona Athletics. For more information about the Gaels, including schedules, TV times, all that good stuff, check out our website, www.icgales.com. You can also subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media by searching for our handle at @ICGales across all major social media platforms. Stay tuned next week on another brand new episode of the Iona Athletics podcast coming up. But until then, keep fighting the good fight, Gael Nation.
Fighting the good fight.